After many long years buried completely in the dark, breaking the surface requires an immense, final, exhausting push. This timeline shows the stag beetle's lifespan, up to 7 years buried in darkness, but just fleeting weeks on the surface. When males emerge, they carry unmistakable oversized antler-like mandibles attached to a shiny black head and deep chestnut-brown wing cases. The heavily armored insect we recognize on summer evenings is essentially an epilogue. The vast majority of a stag beetle's life is a long, hidden subterranean epic. For those first several years, the stag beetle exists entirely as a larva. It is a thick, smooth-skinned grub that can grow over 4 inches long, identifiable by an orange head and strong brown jaws. These jaws are built for one purpose: chewing through rotting wood. They live inside dark tunnels of decaying timber, up to half a meter underground, slowly digesting the dead wood to build up crucial fat reserves for their adult phase. This map of southern England shows where these beetles can actually survive. Females require light soils to dig down and lay eggs. Because they cannot easily penetrate dense earth, chalky areas like the North and South Downs are completely devoid of stag beetles. The length of this underground stay is dictated entirely by the environment. If temperatures drop severely, or if the soil becomes exceptionally dry or waterlogged, the larvae simply stall their development, waiting out the extreme weather and extending their subterranean sentence. A stag beetle's survival hinges on a highly specific, undisturbed ecosystem. Without a constant supply of decaying wood sitting in soft, temperate soil, the multi-year process collapses before it can finish. Once a larva has eaten enough deadwood to reach full size, it leaves its feeding tunnel. It burrows out into the surrounding soil and constructs a large, sturdy cocoon where it pucates, gradually metamorphosing into its adult form. Even after the transformation is complete, the adult stays put. It waits out the cold winter entirely buried in the soil. It is only when air temperatures reliably rise, usually from mid-May onward, that they begin to dig their way up. Up close, you can easily tell the sexes apart. The female on the right is much smaller than the male, with highly practical, reduced mandibles built for digging. People often mistake the lesser stag beetle for a female, but lesser stags are completely matte black and squarer in shape, whereas true female stag beetles retain those shiny chestnut wing cases. Breaking through the soil in the warmth of summer triggers a massive biological shift. After years of patient, slow feeding, the insect is thrust into a frantic race against a strict biological clock. Once above ground, adult stag beetles cannot eat solid food. They have to run their entire adult lives off the fat reserves they painstakingly accumulated while chewing through wood as a grub. To stay hydrated and keep moving, they rely on a desperate liquid diet. They use a specialized, feathery tongue to lap up moisture from tree sap runs or the juice of fallen, rotting fruit. Every day is an exercise in extreme energy management. Males spend their daylight hours sitting absolutely still in the sun. They act as solar panels, absorbing enough thermal energy to power the exhausting physical demands of their evening flights. At dusk, they take to the air to search for a mate. When males cross paths, they lock those enormous antler-like jaws together. It becomes a violent wrestling match where the goal is to physically pry the rival off the wood and drop them to the ground. The beetles burn through their stored energy at an astonishing rate. By the end of August, their larval battery is completely depleted, and almost all of the adults die. They do not survive a second winter. This frenzied search to reproduce happens exactly when the beetles are most exposed. They are easy targets for cats, foxes, and kestrels, but rising populations of magpies and carrion crows have become especially heavy predators of the beetles while they attempt to mate and lay eggs. We have also inadvertently built a deadly behavioral trap for them. Because the adults desperately seek out heat, they are drawn to the warm surfaces of tarmac roads and pavements, leaving them incredibly vulnerable to getting crushed by passing traffic or pedestrians. They also fall victim to their own imposing anatomy. Despite having large, terrifying-looking mandibles, stag beetles are harmless. They do not damage living timber, and they cannot hurt humans, yet people frequently kill them simply because they look dangerous. An insect that successfully evaded danger in the dark for over half a decade can be wiped out in a fraction of a second by a car tire or a frightened boot. But the greatest threat to the stag beetle is our desire to keep our outdoor spaces tidy. The systematic clearing of fallen branches and deadwood from woodlands, parks, and gardens directly removes their only habitat. Routine landscaping practices, like grinding down old tree stumps or clearing away fell timber, completely eradicate the vital food source the next generation requires to survive their long wait underground. Keeping these beetles around simply requires leaving someone alone. You can deliberately create log piles in a shaded, quiet corner of a garden, allowing the wood to naturally decay and mimicking the ecosystem they rely on. If there is enough rotting wood available, a mated female will often return to the exact spot where she originally emerged. She pushes her way back down into the soft soil to lay her eggs, starting the clock on the next generation. Preserving one of our most spectacular insects is surprisingly straightforward. We simply have to allow nature to be a little bit messy, leaving decaying wood exactly where it falls, and giving the next generation the time and the fuel they need to wait.